Hello. I just want to talk about my experience of being disabled and trying to live independently and the issues that I faced throughout my course of this whole journey. So, I moved out in 2009, like 2 years after my grandmother passed away. Um, I developed issues with depression, anxiety, self-harm, mental issues, emotional issues. So I really was going through it. And it was partly because of my bad relationship with my stepdad. And also, I take responsibility for it being bad, and he needs to assume his part in it as well. But I know that it's not going to happen. So I moved out in 2009, like I said, 2 years after my grandmother passed away. I was ready. And then again, I also was forced to do so. Because it was either he was going to go or I had to go. And for my own mental well-being, I left. Me and my mama made the decision for me to leave. It was the best and worst decision we ever made, honestly. Because since I moved out, my anxiety has gotten worse. My depression has gotten worse. My emotional issues have gotten worse. The mental issues has gotten better because I've been really praying for that to get better, because you got to be mentally stable to even live on your own. Because if you can't, they're going to put you in a home somewhere. So it's not all bad. So since I moved out, I've been on my own since I was 21. So technically, I spent roughly 7 years confined to my apartment. I don't go nowhere. I don't have no friends. Nobody reliable around me, not even family, outside of my sister and a cousin and her son. And even that's not enough, because they don't know how to adequately care for me. She's slightly disabled herself. My cousin, she tries to come bring me food, even though I could very well cook myself, but I have to be assisted in getting in my wheelchair to cook. And I have had a lot of issues with home health care. By me having spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy, I require a lot of care because I'm affected in all four limbs. And these girls, a lot of them have come straight out of McDonald's, the chicken plants. They don't know how extensive of care that somebody with my condition needs. I've had to tell them how to work the Hoyer lift. I shouldn't have to. They should be trained before they get to me. I should barely have to even speak on something like that, because if I have to tell them how to use it, that makes me feel like I can't trust them. So I dealt with that. Like I said, my family support has been pretty much non-existent. I'm not gonna butter it up, sugarcoat it. That is what it is. And if you have someone that is disabled that wants the opportunity to live independently, consider some very important things. Can they walk? Do you have a plan for them if they're in their apartment and the fire break out? Do you have a plan to get them out of their apartment safely if a fire break out, in case of a weather emergency like a tornado, hurricane, any flood, anything? Because where I live in southeast Georgia, where there are many times we done either almost been hit by a hurricane, done had tornadoes not that far from where I live. Right now, I don't have an adequate plan. If something, God forbid, was to break out in here, that's why I know I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. Because I don't know what I would do if a fire break out in here. I don't know what I would do in case of a tornado, hurricane. Because nobody right now can lift me to assist me to get in my chair. I have to use a Hoyer lift. My family don't know how to use a Hoyer lift. So you have to consider, again, can they walk? And if they cannot, can they transfer from bed, toilet to chair? If they have to have caregivers, you need to make sure they are adequately trained, professional enough to care for your disabled loved one. Because I have had only one, maybe two. No, you know what? I've had 3 over the course of my 7 years that I can say that were adequately enough, trained enough, that basically ones that have had some form of medical background. I've had maybe 3 out of 7 years of care. You know, with the first company I was with, I had one aide that done this type of work for 30 years. And then the company that I'm with now, oh, it's so awful. I've only had maybe 5 aides that were dependable, but not adequately enough trained, in my opinion. Whew. It has caused my anxiety to be worse, my depression to be worse, my anger is through the roof. The office staff is disrespectful. They don't have no regard for what the patient asks. It's always the aide over the patient. They don't believe nothing we say. Oh, God. So consider, if you want your disabled loved one to move out, is the support system. And I'm not just talking about the caregivers. I'm talking about the family. I'm talking about the family, friends, as well as the caregivers. Is that support system going to be strong, reliable, and consistent? If not, if you feel any area in that support system is not going to uphold what they're required to do, don't let them move out. Because I've developed suicidal tendencies over the course of my 7 years. Anxiety again, depression, mental issues, emotional issues. I've developed issues with self-harm, biting. It has been terrible. A blessing and a curse. A blessing and a curse, because I got away from home. But I stepped into a tougher situation where I don't have no one reliable around me. So consider everything. Don't just let them move out because they want to. Consider how it's going to affect their life for the rest of their life. I have so many scars emotionally that I'm going to have to deal with for a very long time. So consider everything. Don't let them be like me. Include them, not exclude them. Don't let your disabled loved one be confined to their home for 7 years. Make an effort to include them in your life. Just because they move out don't mean they don't exist. May God bless you all, and I hope you learned from this. Leave me a comment. Pray for me as I will pray for you. Thank you.